Absolutely right at the deep end. Here we are. Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Here we are for the next installment of HoGaLe's. And as usual, I mean, I was actually a little bit late in my preparation backstage, and the ladies were shocked. So we have, we leap in anyway, but I mean, this is literally just a total jump in. We've not even had a chance to kind of catch up.
No, we haven't said hello yet.
Exactly. So first of all, I want to say thank you, ladies, for attending. As always, it's always a pleasure to work with you both. And there is a very interesting show today. We've got some really interesting questions that have come in. Of course, we've got the usual USA questions, but a bit more international this evening. So we're going to be going around a bit more in our esoteric aeroplane, a bit more than usual. Please don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and press the bell notification. And don't forget the ladies as well. Their channels are in the description in the video below. So just to give you an overview, ladies, and audience as well, where we're going. So we're going to be looking at China, about those huge floods. Remember, there's been a lot that's been suppressed about that. So
Three Gorge Dam.
Yeah, well, I think we need to have a little look under the bonnet of that one. Then we will be going, we'll be looking at the USA and food prices, stuff like that. Azerbaijan has come up as a question. Didn't know anything about this, so that's going to be quite interesting. Then we're going to look at Matt Gaetz and certain stuff that's come out.
Matt Gaetz, funny already.
Indeed. And then we're going to look a bit at the Canadian wildfires. Of course, you know, they've been having a big thing, a really juicy one. We'll squeeze this. We'll squeeze in one more if we can after this. Rupert Murdoch is married again.
Yes.
But this one is about Wendy Deng. Do you remember her?
Oh, Wendy Deng. Oh,
yeah. And if we've got time, then we'll do one more about South America. But let us begin. Are you ready for the first, or what? Anything you want to say, ladies, before we start? Sorry, because we really haven't.
Yeah, if I could jump in. I was reading the comments when you were getting organized, Hoagie. And there's a comment from Darren, who is a German-Swiss American. And the conversation had been about, I guess, the fraudsters in the different states, the fraudulent electors. And they're saying, oh, I was just following orders. And Darren's pointing out that didn't work for the Nuremberg trials. Yeah. So no soldier is required to follow an illegal order. Of course, most soldiers aren't in a position to act on that in real life, in real time, but it's an interesting point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's very interesting. It's a very good point. And welcome as well to everyone in the comments. Many of you here, Marjorie, Lara, Sherry, French, Roxanne, Connie B, Lynn Pearson, Tara, your way, Janie T, you're all piling in. And for those that might be new to the channel, the chat in of itself is a phenomena on its own. It really is.
And hi to Teresa Campbell as well, who's been very loyal. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now let's explore this question around China. And I'm hoping, ladies, you might be able to fill me in a bit more. As I think most of us know, China has been going through some really terrible weather of late. There's been lots of typhoons and, you know, tornadoes, mass flood events. And from what I understand, what I've been able to glean from other channels, like other YouTube channels that are kind of looking more at this kind of stuff, as usual, but even more so than usual, there's been a kind of a social media embargo put down by the government to basically try and suppress all of these horrendous images going around the world. Now, I've been able to see some of these published, I guess, before they were taken down, and the flooding has been like horrific. But what is being said is that broadly Beijing, they say, is being saved, and the areas around are being sacrificed. There's basically saying that the other areas are being allowed to completely flood. Is there any corroboration on this, ladies? Have you heard about this as well?
Yeah, they think there's 100,000 that have died. I mean, they just opened the dams and flooded these places and did not give people a warning that they were going to do that. So they've lost all their homes, everything. And the government is saying it's due to the rain, but no, they opened the floodgates of these dams and just sacrificed all these people to keep Beijing and his private little thing that he's been working on safe. Yeah.
I've heard about this, and I almost didn't want to believe it because I didn't have enough time to dig into it.
Yes.
I did see images where I looked at Beijing and I was like, that just looked horrible, but oh my goodness. Okay, so here with the main body of the question. So China disaster situations said is that Beijing is being protected, but basically the other areas being sacrificed, like you said, and social media block out. I didn't know it was, they apparently is now maybe 100,000. And I also hear, do you remember I said a while ago, I said that Xi Jinping will be having a lot of issues at home. Do you remember I said with weather and with real estate? And my goodness.
Yeah, they're all moving out of Shanghai. All of that is gone now. All the foreign investors, everybody has left Shanghai as well. It's the economy, everything is gone. They can't be doing moving stuff. Trucking industry is down. A lot of the factories are gone. And a lot of the area where they were growing rice and grain is gone as well. The floods. So it's, over there is a total nightmare. Everything is
my goodness. And I've been hearing as well from other sources that have connections with China that are basically corroborating that, saying, but because there's such the control that they have over, you know, social media, of course they've got completely separate internet, they're able to suppress a lot more, but you can't suppress everything. Wow. So so obviously Xi Jinping's under a lot of pressure. So the question here is, what's China's immediate future, and will Xi be able to stay in power? I thought we had to ask that.
Yes.
Wow, it's worse than I thought. Worse.
It's really, really bad.
Wow. 100,000. Oh. It really gives pause for thought, doesn't it? That what the Chinese people have had to endure, and we look at our governments, and we know how dreadful so many of them are, and then you hear stories like this, and you just think that is just the ultraviolet spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the immediate future for China?
Xi went to school in Australia, went to postgraduate university in Australia. And so I think at the time we were a bit optimistic that he'd be more westernized or something. But no.
Didn't he study as well in the USA? Didn't he have a degree? Didn't he
might have. I only know about him at ACU, our Canberra University.
Law or something. I think he went to the States as well. One of the big Ivy Leagues. I think it was one of them. But let me know in the comments, folks.
China.
Oh goodness. Who's ready to go first?
Not me.
I can go.
Good.
Go for it. Censure of it, just trying to hang on. Going into it, this is about government and business and the doorway. What are they going to do? We have, you know, people have left, and all this water is coming, and so that's what's being birthed now. The challenge is strengthening because they've got all this water, all this stuff happening. As far as him staying in power, we have his there trying to hang on. We've got a path forward for where they're at. He's got to come up with some new idea and offering to because the challenge is to heal and to give back. But the problem is he's not giving.
Yeah.
He's trying to say, he's not giving. You know, when they had that flood and they opened those dams, he's suppressing that and say, oh no, it's due to the rain, so we don't owe you anything. Because of opening those floodgates, they're supposed to pay them back for the loss of their houses, but he's not doing any of that.
Wow.
So he's
also speaks about cash flow as well, isn't it? Because we know China's economy is also struggling.
Well, that's what everybody's left, all the investors and everything. And now he's got that new thing going about, spying and trying to put that in like McCarthy era with the school children and spying on people now.
Gosh, the desperation.
It's
Lena.
bad.
Wow.
Okay.
Lena, what do
Yeah,
you have?
I did more cards than usual because it's such a gigantic issue. Bang in the middle, the death card. So I think this is so dramatic on the back of, let's call it hyper COVID in terms of shutting down cities and stuff. I mean, it's coming on the back of that, meaning the economy was starting to run downhill because they'd reached their peak capitalism. Then came COVID. Now comes this.
Yeah.
Right. So it's can't just be seen on its own, but the net result is the death card. Not the end, but a radical departure. Past attitudes were a bit about victimhood, as I see it. Oh, the West is doing this to us. The West is doing this to us. This is happening to us, always to us, not what we're doing and not doing for our people.
To you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. External swords. Past actions. Well, that'd be bugger all. It'd be just, howling at the moon, just not acting.
Yeah.
Okay. The energy over the spread at the moment. They don't know what to do. He does not know what to do. Wow. And this is a problem when you are one. Sorry, Lady G.
Tons of water affecting everything.
Yes, well, overflowing cups. Yes, exactly. But this is a drawback when you're a one-party state and you're the one leader when everything's going well, and you can
take all the credit.
It does all come back to you. This is a time, of judgment for China. Because it's on the brink in all sorts of ways, hovering on democracy and hovering around these different massive changes anyway. And I think with the celestial component, you can't, as you say, shut down the internet. What's he going to do to help people? But it's big. It's big.
Yeah. I agree. And my card's pretty dramatic as well. And it's very interesting because, as we know, the first card can really emphasize what the whole reading is about. And look what I get. I get the world.
Yeah.
It is like a grand cycle is coming to an end. I think we all feel it. And it's... We knew that things are pretty grim anyway, but I think China's response, or the regime, let's remember, the regime's response to COVID was so draconian that they brought that grand cycle of prosperity to an end. I really do. I really do believe that. It was implausible. It was ridiculous. No one was ever going to have zero COVID, and particularly when Omicron came along, the whole world and his dog and cat were getting it. I mean, it's just like, so it shows. I mean, it shows in a way. This is symbolizing in many ways China's attitude to the world. If we think, which was the manufacturer, literally, of the world. Now they're saying that India is now taking up the slack, and many other countries as well, because I sometimes watch like these financial international kind of stuff. Indonesia, of course, other countries, because they were closed down for so long, everyone's like, well, we still need to make shoes. So obviously they went elsewhere. So a big cycle looks like it's coming to an end. Look at the obstacle card. 10 of Cups. which again, isn't it interesting? When we pull this for the politics, this is often about the false narrative. The everything's fine, folks, don't worry.
So
We're
good,
all
you
gonna
wouldn't
be
believe it.
fine. Yeah, and they're still trying to play this game. But it's come in the obstacle position because these are literally the families that are suffering. Because, you know, like Lady G was just informing us, if they've opened the floodgates and 100,000 people are gone, I mean, that's hardly happy families, is it? So it's come in the obstacle position. This is essentially what? A betrayal. It's a betrayal of people. And we obviously won't know the full dynamics, but word would have got round in China. Yeah, well, you can't be having that many. What is it? I think there's 3 or 4 typhoons that they've had, major floodings, crop failures, all of this kind of stuff. You can't suppress that forever. And I think maybe the people of China are really starting to feel betrayed by everything. The money is slow, not forthcoming. Yeah, it's kind of there, but we know this is the this is the slow night. You can see with the horse, all 4 hooves are down. So it does talk about finances, but I think this is also as well the economy, literally what? Slowing down. The regime not wanting to pay people out for compensation. However, look, the romantic night still comes to the fore. They're still trying to, yeah, it's all right, folks, don't worry. It's only 100,000 people gone. We are so many. Yeah, that's one of the sayings. We are so many. This is just, they're still coming with the false narrative. Yeah, still coming with the false narrative. Why? Because they're still trying to expand their opportunities around the world. I pulled some extra cards as well. Here we are, the Empress, and we all know as well, this can be Mother Russia. Yeah. So how can you help us? Yeah, Beijing is looking to the outside world, you know, prospecting. I think this is Xi, quite literally looking to Russia now, maybe for support. Do you remember how Russia was seen as the annoying little brother? But when you're, like they say, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Yeah, so I think he's looking out, and of course he's looking for what? Assistance, help, collaboration to try and get out of this. So the false message is going to continue, and desperately scrabbling around, and probably going to be having a chinwag with Russia for a bit of help. Anything to add to that, ladies?
No,
go on.
Go ahead. I'll go after you, Lena.
I was just thinking maybe next week we should put India on the list, because India quietly is just overtaking China in terms of the scale of the economy.
Well. So that's very Empress-like. Do you remember the cards when we were talking about India? I think it was a few months ago, and when I pulled for them, I got the Empress and the Emperor, and I said they are going to go forward into the world with that more dominant economy, but balancing that male and female, and they really are picking up the slack. They say India's playing both sides. You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Going to say something.
Oh yes, Lady G, you were going to add.
Yeah, another thing that's going on there, a lot of people don't know, they used a lot of underground water. So with this flood, everything is collapsing. They've got big sinkholes that are going, and they've got these spouts of water coming up out there and bubbling stuff up out from underground, because they had used so much of the underground water that it's kind of empty there. And so all this stuff is collapsing.
Wow.
Which is why fracking isn't the answer, because it disturbs the artesian basin.
Wow.
Exactly. And you get big sinkholes happen.
My, it's just coming from all sides. I mean, as you guys know, I was looking at his astrology, and I said he's gonna have problems. He's gonna have problems, because you can just see how certain things line up. Disaster. Okay, are we ready for the next question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is coming from Lynn Streeter, and this is about food, USA. So she's asked, what's coming for Americans financially? food prices increases, etc. So this is like an overall financial of what's coming for America, because of course if China goes down, this is the thing, we're all connected now. Nothing just happens in
isolation, which is why Brexit was a flawed project from its inception. Absolutely. Everyone's connected.
Exactly.
So USA economy and food. And
USA economy and food, financially, food, etc. All of that stuff. What's coming up for America?
USA.
Someone, one of my clients was telling me in New York, a liter of milk is now $10. If someone can, yeah. I mean, it's Manhattan, but still, $10 for a liter of milk. What is that all about? So let us know in the comments, guys, about food prices and how you guys are coping. I understand inflation is slowing, but it doesn't mean the prices have dropped. It means that they're just not going up as fast as they were. So let us know in the comments how you guys are getting on with food and stuff. Who's ready to go?
I can go if you want.
Go for it.
Okay. At the center, the Nine of Pentacles, which is traditionally the card of the good life and having enough, and symbolically the country had enough. It's always been the haves and the have-nots, but nonetheless, there's been a lot of stuff, for want of a better word, going on. Now the problem is the endless lies that are coming through. We all know about the echo chambers that people inhabit, so people aren't getting real information. It was like, remember when the soy farmers voted for Trump and then lost
their business? My God, they got ruined, didn't they?
Like that multiplied. There are answers to be had and conversations that are needed with this Page of Wands, but people aren't listening. So there's this just going off half-cocked. The birds are talking, like in Twitterverse. It's like, well, it's all because of this and it's all because of that. Not sensible dialogue, looking at real situations. You've got the King of Swords here. And I think with this particular king, it's someone, possibly even Biden, he's usually King of Cups here, but it could be a steady hand on the tiller and someone, thank you, he's come up in both places, someone trying to address the real issues. But people are embattled and it is not easy. Every week, these prices are going up, and at least in Argentina, they see that it's going up and it's like COVID. It's the same in Australia. It just creeps up and no one knows how to deal with it or refuses to deal with it.
Lady G, what do you have?
Well, we've got America at the center of it and what's being birthed and, all of our things that are growing, things that we get in the past. We have the merchants, what they wanted, desired, etc. But now we have, what are we going to be able to take away and what are they trying to get away with this? The challenge is the world situation and juggling this. Okay. So, everything is connected. They're trying to do what takeaway they can. But again, some of them are just trying to get away with something because of how they dealt with stuff in the past, the merchants, how they were selling it.
Yeah. And there has been rumors for a long time, hasn't there? And many, many people over the last few months who have been saying in the chat from their own testimony of their own lives, they say there's been a lot of profiteering A lot.
Yes, particularly during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of profiteering. And when I
Well,
look
the
at
same thing with now with all of the raising the prices that people can't afford to rent a place. They're living in their cars. They're living in, you know, because again, the same thing, profiteering. Just bad everywhere here.
Yeah. I've got some cards here. Oh, quite epic ones. So here we are. Spirit, of course, is listening in because the star comes up, which we also know is the star for America. Yeah, the virtues of America, or, you know, the American people, the, you know, collectively, the Star-Spangled Banner, you know, America the Beautiful, which is still one of my favorite. I do love that song. And, you know,
Great
Fields
anthem.
of Rain, exactly, all of this kind of stuff. So here's America here. Yeah, but it's kind of, let's look at the other cards. So what do we have come up? Oh dear, Tower. Yeah.
Whoops.
So it's, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what can I say? I mean, the Tower is the Tower, isn't it? This really has I think this is talking about repeated economic shocks, and it's not just the economics, it's the politics, it's just everything, isn't it? It's all been a very cray, and there's just a lot of wild stuff that has been going on. So this should be no surprise to anyone. But look, the average American is battling, battling. They're trying to fight, you know, because this in many ways is like food prices, isn't it? The bills.
Yeah. Just trying to stay above water.
You know, just trying to stay above. And this is the average American just like, trying to knock down all these things. But, you know, more stuff keeps coming. But here we are. We've got Biden. Yeah, there he is doing his best. Yeah, doing his Bidenomics and stuff like that, because of course the King of Cups will mainly associate with Biden, but this is especially the case because we're talking about America. So here's Biden here, you know, doing Bidenomics and trying to make everything work. Yeah, trying to get that green economy and all those various different things. But look at my outcome card. Oh dear. Yeah, look, the devil. So we've had 3 major arcana, and one is the Tower and the other one's the devil. Now, why is this coming up? I think I know what this is about. This, I think, is talking about the profiteering. Yeah, like we were talking. Dark money. I think this is also as well talking about fentanyl, drug abuse, homelessness, addiction, the just the sheer difficulty that people are facing. Because of course, if we look at the middle card is here. Yeah, the 7 of Wands, really talking about that fight. So I think part of what I feel the Bidenomics, or what the Democrat outlook can be, is also helping people with their addictions. With their mental health issues, with the violence, you know, the crime, the guns, all of this underbelly that we've seen. And of course, this is also the politics as well, isn't it? You know, so I wish my cards were more edifying, but all we can do is read the cards, isn't it, ladies? That's what we do. We read the cards.
I mean, I wish we could change things, but we can only read what's going on. Now, in Florida, too, all of the insurance companies are leaving. And, of course, now they're saying, well, Farmers is the latest one to leave Florida because of the hurricanes and weather and stuff now. And, of course, they're blaming it on that Farmers is a woke company.
Oh.
All the ones that leave are woke. And so that's why they're leaving.
Hey. And the other thing I was thinking with your devil card there too, Hogarth, that in terms of farming, agribusiness has taken over from so many family farms, and always the promise is it'll make things cheaper. Yeah. No, it means the quality goes through the floor. You exploit the workers to get it, and then you charge more.
Yeah. And you use more pesticides as well and all that kind of stuff too.
Hormones, antibiotics.
Yeah. It's just here, someone who's just got the letter K for their name, and they've kind of given us a little update here. Let me know, ladies, if you know more about this as well. And she says, say a prayer for us in Southern California and Bahia, Mexico, who's being hit by Hurricane Hillary. I remember hearing about this, but I didn't have a chance to follow. And we'll have a massive tropical storm, likely flooding here. So she's talking about if it goes from Mexico, then it may go up. Do you know more about this hurricane? Because we are in the season.
It's due to hit LA, isn't it? Flooding rains and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate it's called Hillary, of course. You can imagine what'll happen with that. It'll be her fault.
Yeah, Trump will try, obviously, do something with that. Gosh. Yes. The season, of course, it will turn. But remember, like I was saying, with Jupiter in Aries, yeah, hot, wet. He's a hot, wet planet. And expands everything. And it's just, yeah.
Well, that's what's going on in Florida too. The water, the ocean there is like 90 degrees. And when the ocean heats up like that, you have more hurricanes and more things. So that's why all these insurance companies are leaving Florida and saying, no way, we can't do it.
Yeah, they can't afford it. They'll go bankrupt. They'll go bankrupt. My goodness, that was eventful, wasn't it? Okay, are we ready for the next question?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hanging on here.
And now I'm kind of like, oh God, should I even read out this next question?
Yeah, that's right.
Don't worry, folks. There will be some laughs at the end.
Yes, can we have some good news somewhere?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, this one, we're in our esoteric aeroplane and we're going to Azerbaijan. Now, this person asked two questions. The first one is about Azerbaijan, which we'll read on. And then the other one was going to be about Maui, but they were inquiring about a little bit about maybe what could be potentially seen as a conspiracy theory or something like we'll just have to see at this stage whether it was deliberate or not or what have you. But it was very windy and those power lines. Anyway, Azerbaijan. So this is coming from Manuela Orchid. Yeah, Orchid. She says, hi, you beautiful souls. Question is, what is happening in Azerbaijan where the government let people starve to death, she's saying, and it's almost like it's genocide over there. Have you guys heard anything about Azerbaijan?
No, nothing at all about it.
Right. So this, folks, is a
cold read all around.
This is what we would call an ice cold read because none of us have a clue. Let's see what Spirit says.
So what is our question?
So essentially, what the person's saying is people are being left to starve. We don't know what's causing the starvation. And she said it's almost like a genocide. So I suppose the question would be, is the Azerbaijan government letting people starve? Let's ask that.
Okay.
Completely cold read.
Azerbaijan. We only hear about Azerbaijan in Eurovision, don't we, Hogarth?
Yeah, that's normally the only time. I'm trying to drag some news out of my mind from past memory. I'm trying to remember when they were last in the news. It's been a long time.
Yeah. And if someone in the comments could tell us, is it a satellite state of Russia or have I got it wrong? I think it's somewhere in between all that on the edge of Asia and
quasi. I think there was going to be an overthrow of the Azerbaijan government, and then I think Putin stepped in with some troops, but I could be getting that wrong because we're talking about maybe 2 years ago now or 3.
Oh, well, that helps me with my read. Shall I go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So regarding food shortages, and I would imagine everything shortages, because if you're attached to Russia, Russia is stretched to its thinnest, and so you wouldn't be getting the usual things, plus Ukraine not being able to produce the wheat, etc., etc. So obviously a country like Azerbaijan would be affected. There's a strategy in place but I don't know that it's the most compassionate strategy. And I think all it means is the head, who I'll get to in a minute, of Azerbaijan, is just seeking help from around the world. There's the world. This, whoever the head is, I've got no idea. This is one bossy guy, right? He gets the King of Swords and the Emperor. So lots of kingy things going on here, and the Emperor. So in other words, no one can tell him anything. No one can tell him what's really going on, right? But I think that the positive is people are talking and getting together, and here's a brand new day in the outcome. I think it could be the toppling of this leader. I'm not getting lots of swords and things, but I think it's so bad that it will lead or be forced to a new beginning.
Wow. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, going into it, we've got the fly in the ointment, and the timing of this, the things are ticking. At the center of it, we have the people. In the past, we have the government. And now, again, it has to do with the families, what's going on. The challenges, so many things are up in the air with it. And that they're looking deeper, but I think they feel very isolated, people. And they're just not getting the help. They just, we don't know which way it's going, what's coming, what's up in the air. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting with it.
Yeah, I've got some interesting cards here, and I've had to pull a few clarifiers because some of the questions have been, they've had quite long legs in them. Do you know what I mean? They've been very layered, and I've just been like, oh, okay. Now, I was holding up my king erroneously because obviously I still don't know Lena's deck off by heart yet, and I thought she was holding up the King of Cups.
But it was another king.
It was another king, though. So here we are, King of Cups here. Now, this can only refer, of course, to the leader, yeah? Who, of course, I mean, I know he's male, that's it. I don't even know his name. But with me getting the King of Cups here, the last I remember, there was basically the overthrow. The people tried to overthrow, I think it was Azerbaijan, and they got basically suppressed. And I think it was over things like prices and corruption and stuff like that. So this could symbolize him. Now, normally, when it's the right way up, this can be a creative, sensitive, positive male energy, but he could possibly be in the shadow, which is what? Manipulation, lies, and gaslighting. Yeah, can be a bit of a nasty so-and-so, the old King of Cups when he's ready. But look who comes in the obstacle position. Queen of Cups. And we all both know it's always interesting, isn't it? When you have the two suits there.
One suit, yeah.
And what this says to me is that I think there's been a lot going on in Azerbaijan that's been kept under the surface, and it's in that crucible, yeah? There's a lot of secrets there because we've not really heard anything, yeah? As you know, this is a stone cold read, folks, so forgive us if we make mistakes and don't know who people are and stuff like that. It's a stone cold read. But what this says to me is that there's a lot going on with the Queen of Cups. There's a tremendous amount of emotions, a lot of stuff going underneath the surface, and it often deals with secrets. So I have a feeling this has been bubbling and simmering for quite some time. If we look here, we've got the Eight of Pentacles here. This is all about being studious, working hard, graft. So it seems like the people are having to, I mean, I'm not seeing like necessarily poverty here, but it certainly seems like the people are working hard, or maybe the government's trying to work hard to remedy the situation in some way. But there's obviously some aspect there of neglect. When the card is reversed, it can mean being bored or refusing to do certain work. So again, I'm groping here a little bit because I'm not sure. If we look here, the victory card comes up. But who is this? Who is the victory for? Because it could be, is it that the leader is able to continue to manipulate things? Or is it that the people themselves, after hard work and graft, are able to come to victory in some kind of way. But look, it looks like there's some kind of battle. So there's definitely a feeling of being embattled. This could also be the leader as well, because if there are food shortages, that's not good for anyone. Yeah, that stresses everybody, even if you're really rich, because then you're worried about being overthrown. I pulled 3 clarifiers. They want to go back to better times. Yeah, 6 of Cups.
Yeah.
Some legalities there. Something is coming up. Someone's going to be held to account, and the situation's going to move forward at pace. So maybe they've reached a tipping point in Azerbaijan, and maybe it's the people, or there's some kind of perhaps popular movement where the embattled people will try again for victory. That's all I can say. Anything else to get?
You were saying things you had a feeling bubbling for a while. And one of the comments is Azerbaijan are starving the ethnic Armenians. Who are the bottom of the social ladder there, and the Armenians have suffered greatly. Turkey still refuses to acknowledge the Armenian genocide and so forth. So that would make sense. The other comment that's important, I think, is food aid had to be stopped because it was being stolen. So they're not getting food aid.
That explains it.
I'm going to take these 2 out.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. That explains it then, Lena, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
As for all of us, we would just.
So it's not across the board. It's concentrated on that ethnic group.
Yeah, and they were briefly at war again, weren't they? And then it was stopped and suppressed, and it's been a tit for tat, backwards and forwards. Wow. So, yeah, it looks like then that it's going to reach some kind of tipping point. People are going to want things to return.
And I got the Fools, so something's going to give.
Yeah, something's going to give, folks. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad we asked that, and that's why I love. Sometimes, well, not love their situation, but those cold reads.
Yeah.
Next question. Yeah. Are we ready for the next question?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that. We had the puppy wars going. Somebody said they heard squeaky toys going. No, that was Lily. That was not a squeaky toy.
They're so cute. They're so cute.
Oh my God.
We've got just over 1,300 with us right now.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for joining us, because there's a lot of content out there this Saturday. It's like the whole world and his wife's got videos out. So thank you for joining us. Okay, so that was Azerbaijan. Let's get to question number 4. Where is it? Oh, here we are. So we're back to Morocco and Matt Gaetz. Now, this was a juicy one. I've not heard much about it. Again, if you could, in the comments, and ladies, if you could assist, of course, as you will. So Ellen Quinlan has asked, will anything become of Matt Gaetz's censure motion against Judge Chutkan? Chutkan.
We all have to work out how to pronounce her name properly.
Sorry if I butchered that, folks. This is my first attempt. Do you know about this, ladies? Because this was a bit left field for me. Have you heard about this censure?
We're talking about Tanya Chutkan, who's in control of Trump's case. She's the new judge.
And apparently Matt Gaetz has put forward a censure motion against her. That's the bit where I was left field. Is that correct? What's that all about?
I don't know. I haven't heard about this because there's so much. But she has been berated and harassed and threatened. But he's gone through the motions, obviously, of a censure motion. I mean, please.
Well, let's pull on Matt. Let's pull on Matt Gaetz. And see what's going on, and then I think we should ask Shakespeare what he thinks, because I don't think we've done Matt Gaetz.
Because we probably did it a year ago or something, but we certainly haven't for a long time.
It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. If we have. All right, Matt Gaetz. Ooh, got a jump.
This happened on Friday. And she's in DC about the January 6th trial. Okay.
So where did you read that? Let me scroll down. So this is a thing then, is it?
Back up a bit. Okay.
Okay.
Matt Gaetz.
Gaetz.
I love that.
Matt
Gaetz. Let's read on Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz, that's a great one. Matt Gaetz. And then we'll ask the bard.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go. For me, he just reminds me of that of Angry Birds, the yellow triangular one with those eyebrows. You know the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he
got away with that case of trafficking minors across state borders and things.
Mm-hmm. I did actually tell people when I did a deep dive on Matt Gaetz, and I said, sorry guys, he's probably going to get away with it. He was able to sweet talk them. He was able to use his wiles and his connections.
Well, I think he was lucky because the main guy testifying about him, and this often happens with these people, was proven to be an unsound witness because he'd lied about other things. And this is the problem with lying. Then when you tell the truth, people can escape. So it was
indeed
like that.
There you are. See?
Yeah.
Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
He's just a dead ringer. He's a dead. Who's ready to go?
Oh, I can go if you like.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, straight up, the death card. I'm using the circus cards because he's that kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think he's sailing close to the wind in all sorts of ways. The temperance card, but if you look at these cards, it's like the two-headed sort of sisters or something. It's like he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth. I don't think anyone's taken this seriously because he's one step more advanced than George Santos, so here, he's swallowing fire here by taking her on. And then the outcome is the Knight of Coins, Knight of Pentacles, which is, I think he's been paid to do it.
Ah, of course.
I think a few of them have got together and said, you do it, you go and write the sense emotion, you put it forward, and we'll sling you a yacht or something.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
It's also the mercenary as well, isn't it? One of the
absolutely. It's a totally mercenary act. I don't think he cares about the motion at all.
Wow. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, underneath of it all, he's always got to be the big blowhard with the big ideas and the tough man. So rapidly coming, he wants to put this investigation for his happy family. Okay. At the center of it, trying to figure out what action to put into place, because in the past he's had victories. And so he thinks this is going to aid him in going forward now. But the challenge is what's being worked on, just holding to things. So it's not going to work. He thinks this is going to elevate him with the MAGA crowd and the Republic Ugly. So it's this usual thing.
You see all the pentacles there as well. Yeah, guess what? I got a few as well. So there we go. The Hierophant. This guy, isn't it funny? Because when we do these political readings, these normally, relatively positive cards or whatever, suddenly take on perverse tones. Yeah. Because when I look at this, I'm like, this is him abusing his position and authority.
His government position. Yeah.
Literally abusing his government position, and he thinks he's some great, sage of the government. And you see how he strides in and he comes out with these, various contrived notions, but because he's reasonably eloquent, and he's, because he can outtalk most of the, the slingbags in there. That wasn't, anyway, it would have come out worse. Anyway, but let's just say slingbags. This is him like, I'm an authority. But look, it's all based on aggression. It's just aggression. It's just attack, attack, attack. The best form of defense is attack. And that's all that they're looking for. Yeah. He's using his position to basically attack
her.
Attack her, anyone. The guru, Trump, Duck L'Orange must be worshipped. Must be worshipped. So that's all he does. Uses his position to attack. We all know the folly of this. Look at this, the fool in the middle. I mean, it's so clear, isn't it? I mean, the other cards were subtle and complex. These are very we were all chewing the card, weren't we? We were like, the cards, they're coming, were very mysterious. This is very obvious. Here he is, just doing the foolish stuff, being the goon. Juggling, manipulating. Of course, again, it's about the money over, the seas. And then when you look to confirm it all, we've got the Three of Pentacles. So look, it's collaboration, and the shadow of this card is dark money. He's doing it for the money, folks. He's being paid to use his government position to attack for a fool's errand. It's all manipulation and juggling, and there you are. There's the dark money. We've got 1,400.
Somebody said a good one. They said Jack Nicholson's horrible brother.
I know, for me,
reminds me of The Shining, and coming through the thing.
Look at that. Look at that.
The eyebrows that do it for me. They're just
that's funny. So we have to have the bard, Hogarth.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
It's Lena's turn this time.
Yes, Lena, it's you, and then we're going to do Wendy, or Rupert Murdoch / Wendy.
Oh, Wendy Deng. That's a
Wendy Deng. All right. So, Lena, you tell me where to stop, and we'll get the bard's opinion on Matt Gaetz.
Ready, stop.
Oh, isn't this interesting? Very interesting for Matt Gaetz. So it says, I'm going to read both pages. And so this is from Love's Labour's Lost. It says, your wit makes wise things foolish. Isn't that interesting? Your wit makes wise things foolish, because he's very much into his wordplay and all this stuff from Love Labour's Lost. And then on the next page here, it says, better a witty fool than a foolish wit.
Oh, so it's both about wit, meaning also knowledge and that sort of thing. We're talking about medieval language.
Isn't that funny how the bard came up? Because that's how I see Matt Gaetz. He's always been wordsmithing. Have you noticed? It's like, oh, I'm so intelligent. I'm going to play it this way and that way. But it's like, I think that's pretty bang on. Maybe not the biggest bombshell of insults that we're used to from the bard, but I mean, I think it.
But it is incisive. It is. I haven't had a second coffee yet. I can't speak.
Yeah. No, it is. Your wit makes wise things foolish. Yes. Love's Labour's Lost. Okay. Let's talk about Wendy Deng. Right, now this is the question. I'm going to read out the full question because it just made me giggle just to even read it. Maybe it's not that funny, but it made me think anyway. So this is coming from Sarah Bellis. I think that's what it is. And then she says here, at 92, Rupert Murdoch has found love again. The new couple has been spotted vacationing aboard the Christina O, once owned by Aristotle Onassis. How interesting. Murdoch met his new girlfriend, Elena Zukova, age 66. That's quite mature for him. Anyway, Elena Zukova, age 66. At a large family gathering held by his ex-wife of 14 years, Wendi Deng. Deng has been linked romantically to both Tony Blair and Vladimir Putin, has she?
Yes.
Plus, oh, has she? Wow. Plus, she is one of Ivanka Trump's closest pals.
I think she's even godmother to one of the children or something.
No.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a close connection. Yeah.
Oh. So the actual question part here is what can you tell us about Deng? How did she initially gain entrance into this elite world? Is she a secret agent, and for whom? Oh, isn't that juicy?
Well, I read on all this 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'll actually sit this one out.
Oh,
I'll tell you
Lena. Okay, let's see. This is a 2-horse race, Lady G. Let's see what we've got here. As Lena observes sagely from her stomach.
I'm intrigued.
All right, Wendy Deng. Because for me, this is a cold read. I didn't know any of that.
Well, you're so young, my darling. I mean, all this happened a long time ago.
I mean, I remember her throwing that swipe to defend Rupert Murdoch in court, but that's the only thing.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Oh, God, yeah. The Tigress. All right, Wendy Deng. Oh, I feel like this is almost like a little bit of an audition to see how well we're going to pull. Let's see here. Wendy Deng. She's a wily character. I mean, that's certainly what I'm sensing.
Oh,
just
yeah.
putting your cards. Ooh, okay. That's quite interesting. Lady G, are you ready to go, or do you want me to go?
No, go ahead and go. I've got to figure this out. I'm like, ooh, Lord mercy.
All right. Well, what the sense I get here, this is a woman that certainly likes to be close to power. Let's put it that way. She likes to be close to power. The initial card that comes out for her is the King of Wands. And I think this is quite appropriate for her because, as you know, the cards aren't necessarily always gender specific. It can represent men or women or all in between. I think this speaks of her tremendous ambition.
Yeah.
Because here the King of Wands is all about, going forward, entrepreneurial ambition, all of that kind of stuff. And he even has a little bit of intuition there as well, because with the Queen of Wands, it's the black cat, but with the King of Wands, it's the salamander. And it's showing that there's other stuff going on there. And also that's about transformation, rebirth, and all that kind of stuff. So I think this is a very determined and ambitious character that likes to scope the scenes, and she sends out her little salamander to make sure they've got money in the, in the coffers. Look at the next card that comes out, the Emperor. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So it's not only that she's ambitious, it's that she really wants the top dog. Yeah. Only the most powerful men will do for Wendy. Yeah. Because it's the Emperor card. So I think this is a woman who uses her networking skills, her passion and panache to maybe woo and seduce powerful men. She's impressive to them. I think there's something in her characteristics and her quality, personality that they recognize maybe in themselves. She knows how to butter these men up. She knows just what to say to these powerful men. But here she is. I think this is also her inner world. I think the King of Wands is expressing her outer world. This is her inner world. Yeah, it's about the money. Yeah, it's about the money. It's about her security. She doesn't care. She doesn't care how old they are, as long as they're rich. Yeah, yes. She would marry a vacuum cleaner if it could get her something. Yeah? And that's the sense I get here. And I think this is to do with her childhood. I really do. Here we are. We've got the Six of Cups, which is about what? Nostalgia, security, looking back to the past. So what this says to me is maybe she may have had to struggle a bit in childhood, or she's wanting that security, that protection. Because obviously you've got this 2 here, so it can be an affluence, but she's looking at that coin very closely, the Queen of Pentacles. So I think this is about her childhood and maybe wanting to maintain a certain standard. And how has she done it? Via partnerships and marriage.
Yes.
She is a deal maker. This lady knows how to make deals. So what do you reckon of that, Lena? I hope that corroborates with you. And Lady G, what do you know?
Yeah, totally. Okay. Lady G.
Okay, well, at the center, she's kind of chained to some dark elements, you know. Money. So above it, we have the actions that she does, and she's willing to walk the dark path to get what she wants. In the past, we have here the overflowing, gushing thing that she gets stars in her eyes with somebody that's wealthy. And above it, her fishtails, and she likes the person of power, the person that's, you know, that she sees has a strength, could be an abusive strength. She doesn't care as long as it's somebody of power. Going into it, her message is that, you know, she hasn't always had the best things, so she's willing to sell to the merchant, and she rushes ahead to put that in there. So yeah, she's looking for her opportunity.
Yes, and she never misses. Well, strangely, it's one of those readings I remember. You know how it is when you're reading some things 5 minutes later, there's no recollection, and others you remember for years.
Yeah.
Wendy Deng stayed with me. Now I've got a head start being an Australian because of Murdoch, and you know, our press followed her more closely probably than other things as well. Anyway, the guts of it that I remember, because there was talk then 20 years ago, was she a spy, this and that. What I got, and she is no doubt a power hungry woman, I don't think she's a spy for China or Russia. I think she has access to these men, and she stories about them are her currency. So see, she can trade one off or sell something to this one or that one. She trades one off against the other. I can tell you about Putin, and I can tell you what Tony Blair's going to do, you know, in the next move and everything. Information as power. And I'll just say one more thing, because we're already over time. Her two children with Murdoch, who have grown up both Chinese and Western, I said at the time, I'll say it again, they'll be major world players. I don't know how old they are now, because they get East and West.
Of course.
Right? Not many do. And they are totally of both those worlds. So you can imagine how powerful they would be.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's so funny. I got a little bit of a hit, Lena, when you were talking about her trading secrets, and who came to my mind was Madame Pompadour, the famous mistress of the French king, who really held court, was an absolute powerhouse, but it was based on her culture and her ability to exchange, and like you said, as currency. And I used to do research as well for old books once upon a time about courtesans and their role in Italy, and there were different gradients, but the highest courtesans were seen as ornaments, and they were women that became extraordinarily powerful. They couldn't wield their power overtly, but they had an amazing ability. It was their connections to other powerful men and patrons, and they could often be the brokers of deals. And some of them became exceptionally wealthy and huge political influence. So for me, she's almost like one of these courtesans, one of these uber ones.
Yeah.
On steroids. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, can you believe it? The time has gone in a flash. We've actually gone over, folks. So it was wonderful having everyone here. Over 1,400 of you also joining us live. Ladies, I think that was fabulous. Interesting cards this evening, isn't it? We had some real complexity, and even the bard wasn't his usual kind of mudslinging. Even he was giving us a little bit of something different, but there you are. As we know, from each week, folk to folks, we never quite know what we're going to get. thank you so much for joining us. Ladies, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to contribute to the show. Thank you for everyone for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and your donations and all of that stuff. So we will see you next week. It went in the flash again, and we look forward to bringing you the next show. All right, bye-bye for now, everybody, and much love.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.